So we're saying that the Rams bubbles aren't really front and center for us anymore?
They're never going to be.
They're never going to be. But because we've been in this financial independence, make your own life movement, which nowadays they have acronyms like FIRE, and different people doing it different ways, and we've also explained how we did it, and we've been doing it all our lives. So that's why we talk so much about Rams and their bubbles. Number one, because the first experience we had with living permanently abroad was being in the bubble. We had front row seats, you know.
All right, so how touristy is Cuenca still? We see a lot of tourists. That's a whole group of tourists right there. There's a lot of that. There's a lot of group tourism. We should call this, oh, here come the Gringos.
Yeah, here they come.
Looks like an invading caravan, huh? This is an invading caravan in Cuenca, Ecuador. Except for they went through the proper channels. So.
The trend is with so many people still wanting to go abroad for a variety of reasons. A lot of people, you know, people are being bombarded with reasons to go abroad. One of them being that boomers don't have any retirement savings and all they have is their Social Security check, and they're made to feel like, well, the only thing that we can do, honey, is go abroad, because look, otherwise we're going to starve. And of course that's not true, because we've been PIFFYs for over 30 years and did quite well, and we've been enjoying, you know, in the States, and different people want to leave the States for, I don't want to say political reasons, because that has different kind of connotations, and so I think that within that umbrella of political reasons, there's this small segment that just understands what's happening to American culture. And so the transformation of American culture and how it has turned somewhat negative and hostile to, you know, peace-loving people. And so for that reason, a lot of people seek going abroad to do that. But, you know, I have friends, you know, in this area that have chosen instead to go out in the country, and they have a wonderful life with their family and everything like that. Now, I know to each his own. Some people like to go abroad for the experience. They want to have this travel experience and, you know, go there for the fun of it. And I get that. I understand that. And that's part of why we're abroad, you know. So I think that we've also made a video before about Americans going abroad for the wrong reasons. And I guess what I'm trying to say here is that if you're being led to believe that you don't have any other choice, that's what I'm saying. If you're being told that you don't have any other choice but to go abroad in order to be able to have a good life on 2 Social Security checks or something, well, there is some truth in that. You can certainly have a good life on 2 Social Security checks abroad, but you can also have the kind of life where the majority of the expats just go back home too. You know, there's a reason why that happens, you know.
I follow several blogs. It seems all of a sudden they are moving back to the States or Canada. I find that distressing.
And I think that when people leave for other reasons, like the kind of reasons that people are enticed into leaving for, like, you know what I'm talking about, the major retirement magazines, the ones that make it sound all glowing, and, you know, you're going to have people at your beck and call waiting on you hand and foot, you know, on $1,000 a month, live on the beach, you know, everything's rosy and beautiful, and you're in paradise. These are the people that are, eventually they're going to see through that, and then they end up leaving. So that's why you're seeing these other bloggers that you're following that are leaving. A lot of people end up leaving because they came for the wrong reasons. They were enticed into coming for the wrong reasons. And then after they're through with the honeymoon phase, retiring abroad, they don't understand, they don't think it through, or they're just looking at one thing, you know, one aspect of it. But a lot of people realize later that they miss their family and they don't really want to be out here alone and stuff. It's not all roses. And there's a lot of people want you to think it's all roses because they have vested interests, they have things they want to sell you. And that's standard procedure in the world. You know, there's always people that want to sell you stuff. I mean, when you watch Andy Griffith, there's always snake oil salesmen come into town, you know, and then good old Andy finally confronts them, and then they leave. So, but yeah, nobody confronts them. They stick around, okay? And that's what we like to do. We like to expose the truth and let people understand what they're really getting into, because one of the things is that you get into when you move abroad is that you really, it's almost like you're looking through a looking glass, and all you're seeing is what you're being told. You don't really see until you get there. And so that's why it's important for blogs like ours to exist.
You know, and then we're also here to tell people that you can have an excellent life at home, and that's with PIFFY. You know, and we go into detail on PIFFY, and we talk more about it in our Facebook group. That's what it's about. It's not a travel Facebook. And so, you know, you do have options. And, you know, I realize when I'm in this space and I'm observing people in this space, I see a lot of people, especially like from places like California, that don't even know. For example, I see comments like, I didn't know you could buy houses for $60,000 in America. Well, lo and behold, once you get out of California, and you know, or
Really? Somebody doesn't know that?
yeah, Californians have no clue. A lot of them have no clue that you can actually still be in the States and buy houses for $60,000.
There's a lot of places.
You can lots of places that you can buy houses for $60,000 all day long. You know, and you can have an amazing life in a PIFFY kind of a way. If you're being told that you don't have any options, it's just not so. You know, and I think that you can become by default these people that do something for the wrong reasons. And a lot of the people that end up going backwards are the people that did it for the wrong reasons. If you think you didn't have any other choice and you're doing something out of necessity. On the other hand, if you have choices like we did, we had choices. We were PIFFY already, so we were not economic refugees. We were the bewilderment of our frugal friends, because as a PIFFY, you appear as someone that's not frugal while being frugal. And so, yeah, we were not economic refugees, and you don't have to be. And so, if you want to go abroad, and, you know, go abroad for the experience, for the adventure, you know. But a lot of people seem a little confused, where if you're going abroad for the adventure, you know, adventure is one thing, but, you know, for example, I see people say things like, should I borrow money to buy property abroad? I mean, with all this, they call it globalization, and a lot of people don't know about RAM bubbles and RAM circuits. So they say, with all the globalization going on, which it is, should I borrow money? They want to go into debt just so they can take a position on property, because they have this fear of lack mentality that they're not going to be able to get property. And I'm telling you that you can get property all day long as you stay outside, if that's what you really want. But that's what I'm saying. A lot of people are confused about what they really want, because if you're going abroad for the adventure, then what does having a long-term financial commitment have anything to do with adventure? You know, you can have an adventure without making long-term financial commitments. A lot of people are properly allocated with their investments to where they can make a financial commitment with property abroad, but a lot of people really aren't. I mean, like, for example, you got a Canadian that sells their property for $1 million or $800,000, or a Californian, and they come down here and buy something for $200,000 or $300,000. Well, you know, maybe that's properly allocated, maybe it's not. I mean, I think it's a pretty high percentage. You know, but then you've got others that if it's all you've got, if you just sold your house for $150,000, $250,000 and think coming abroad and putting that money into a property, and then you get stuck in it, you know, we're just telling you, you know, we're just helping you consider that if you're going abroad for the adventure of it, that kind of scenario can actually put some stumbling blocks in front of you financially. And then I think that it's the people that do that are the ones that don't want to say anything because it's so painful. And the other thing, really, if you're going abroad for the adventure, I understand going to the tourist center when you land in a place, but honestly, I have more adventure kind of branching out a little bit. And as long as I feel safe, and I say cautiously feel safe because I don't want to make it sound like it's a feeling. because a lot of people do that. They'll go by feel, and they'll land in the tourist zone and see a lot of tourist police and say, I feel safe here, and all of a sudden they're branding the whole country as safe, or the whole city as safe, and it's just not the case. You know, it takes a little bit more diligence than that and investigation. It takes some specific techniques of investigation to understand exactly what you're getting into. But again, if all you're going to do is stick right, you know, just stay right there in the tourist center, but to me it doesn't seem like a whole lot of adventure. I mean, it would be at first, just because the whole thing is new. Just like when we first landed in Cuenca, even though we were right there, we even contemplated getting an apartment in the center. But get this, when we landed in Cuenca, we were contemplating getting several apartments for $250, and they weren't studios. You know, a 200-meter apartment, that's a pretty good sized apartment for $250. That nowadays, you know, they're saying, oh gee, $800, that's a nice price, you know. But we realized that the more authentic thing to do would have been to just go a little bit outside of that. So
That's what we did.
yeah, and you know, and it has to be done in a smart way. You know, you can't just be careless about it. For example, when we went to Guayaquil and made some videos about Guayaquil, the local press all of a sudden started putting out material on Guayaquil and making it sound like it was super safe. Well, that's absolutely not the case, but you can still go to Guayaquil and enjoy Guayaquil in the tourist center. So there's clearly two different pictures here, and you have to be super careful because it can be misleading if you just go by what is superficially available as information. So anyway, we're here in southern Italy enjoying the summer, and not to get too serious, but just to have your financial independence and early retirement and PIFFY life in mind, to always have the best life you possibly can have in the present moment, and enjoy yourself as much as you possibly can, no matter where you are at in life with your finances. You can do it. All you gotta do is subscribe and
Click the like button.
click the like button.
Share the
And-
video on your own social media.
And if you want to talk more about this stuff, join the Facebook group. Thank you.